Hi, my name is Haley Wood, and this is my EDL 851 Module 8 Legal Aspects of Teacher Evaluation. The first article, Teacher Evaluation Heads to the Courts. In this article, they broke down different cases that resulted from lawsuits across various states. These challenged evaluation systems and tenure. Some of the overlying topics that I noticed in them were school-wide growth from standardized tests, merit pay, pay scales being tied to the evaluations that were done on a teacher, incorrect data coming from some of the evaluations, or not taking poverty into account for the kind of the test scores and the evaluations, and just kind of an inconsistency in the evaluations that were done on a teacher. In these, it kind of listed what the case was and then if it was completed or still in the process. The next article, Teacher Evaluation and Issue Overview. They defined evaluation as a formal process used by a school to review and rate the effectiveness of teachers. One topic that stood out to me a lot was when they said that Eric Handshook, he just talked about how students taught by the worst achieving teacher achieved half a year of learning, whereas those top performing teachers achieved more than one level. I thought this was very interesting and kind of important as to why, as administrators, we need to make sure we're having adequate teachers teaching our students, and these evaluations can kind of help with that. There's been a lot of changes to evaluation systems in the past years. A lot of schools have done more frequent evaluations. They have kind of tied the evaluations to student achievement data. They have compensated teachers kind of for getting those better evaluations, and then also led to promotions and dismissal. A lot of these new changes kind of are what led to a lot of the court cases that were just talked about, but kind of those changes that are being made to try and help evaluations be more effective for schools. On the next article, the Teacher Evaluation and Issue Overview, the same one. So the teachers' union response, they felt that there was a potential for more feedback for teachers, kind of a positive that they felt that these new changes are making. But they also had a concern about the connection with pay and tenure, and they were against including students' standardized test scores into the evaluation data, kind of due to various things like poverty and what students are included in the data. The Teacher Evaluation, a resource guide for NEA leaders and staff. I thought this was a really good article that had a lot of great resources. They talked about how the evaluation process should not be done alone, but it should be a tool in improving teaching and learning. Evaluation is an important component, but it also shouldn't be the only thing that goes into deciding on paper whether the teacher is effective. Some great resources in there that I thought I would definitely use when I become an administrator. They talked about 6 key principles for a foundation of teacher assessment and evaluation, as well as 10 models of core teaching standards. I think it'd be valuable to kind of share these with my teachers so they kind of knew some of the things I was looking for when evaluating them. They also talked about focusing on all teachers and not just those underperforming. They felt like this was something that with the new the evaluation system is done a lot. It's not helping all those teachers just continue to improve, but just kind of getting rid of those bad teachers. And then they also talked about multiple measures of student learning, how test scores shouldn't be the only component when evaluating. You should also kind of look at those performance things, projects, portfolios that the students do to kind of also evaluate how effective the teacher is. In my district, the evaluation process that we use, if you're a probationary in your first through fourth year, you have a formal evaluation and conference once each semester. And if you're non-probationary in your first through fourth year, you have it once a year. After your 5th year of teaching and on, you have a formal evaluation and conference once every 3 years. And then if you're not showing adequate growth, there's a conference and a professional plan is developed with the administrator. And then if you continue to not show improvement after you've been given those chances to improve, then it can result in termination, and that termination reason would be stated in the termination notice, and you would be entitled to a hearing. We use McCrell as an evaluation tool, our administrators do. At the beginning of the year, we set some goals that we would like to work towards, and then they kind of professional development can be connected or tied to those goals that we've created. And then after our observations, we have a conference with our principal. If you feel that your termination was unwarranted, then a third-party arbitrator provides a recommendation to the board after they listen to the teacher's side as well as the administrator's side of why the termination is happening. And in our district, that cost is split 50-50 between the teacher and the district. If after an evaluation you kind of don't agree with some of the things or don't feel that it was fair, then you can write it up and send it to our district office, and you can kind of just put in there what you feel was unfair or inadequate in your evaluation, and they will file that with the evaluation and it'll be on record there. I decided to look at Cook versus Bennett a little more in detail. It was filed on April 16, 2013, and in this case, the Florida Education Association felt that teachers were unfairly being judged on the standardized test scores of subjects that they did not teach, such as music and art. They used a school-wide growth model to kind of evaluate the teachers on those test scores. It was completed in May 2014 in favor of the state. But since then, there's been the Student Success Act has been amended, and it now allows school districts to choose how they measure their student performance for those subjects such as math and language arts that are not assessed statewide. In my reflection, as an administrator, as I continue with the process, I know that communication will be important, communicating with the teachers of what my expectations are, as well as communicating with them what the evaluations and kind of why I felt certain ways. I also want to reflect myself and with my teacher after the evaluations have been done. I want to encourage self-reflection, as well as be able to understand and follow the district and state process and laws. This will be very important that I understand what my district and the things that we need to do and I need to follow. And then I also want to make sure I provide honest feedback to my teachers when I'm observing them, but also make sure that evidence is there to kind of back my case as to why I'm giving them the ratings that I am. Thanks for watching.